Now is the time to negotiate.
When will the lesson be learned? You cannot reason with a tiger when your head is in its mouth!
I take full responsibility.
Really?
Really? Yes, sir! It is the reason I sit in this chair!
What's good, everybody? Thanks for tuning in today. I'm continuing with my 2018 Oscar coverage. We'll be talking about the film The Darkest Hour. It stars Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister. It stars Kristin Thomas as his wife, Clementine Churchill. It also stars Lily James as Elizabeth. She plays the assistant. And it also stars Ben Mendelsohn as King George VI. He's like Prince Harry and them granddad. Anyway, this movie picks up right after Winston Churchill is the Prime Minister, or he's appointed the Prime Minister. It goes through about a 3 to 4 week period during the time of war with World War II, when they were fighting Nazi Germany and France and all that. And it basically gives you an inside, behind the scenes look at the decisions that Winston Churchill was making. Some of them were historically accurate, some were not. The story about him negotiating a peace treaty with Nazi Germany, I felt like was really exaggerated in this movie. I don't think that if you ever look at the historical facts, he didn't really negotiate too much. He actually tried to attack Germany in a different way through Turkey, which ended up costing 25,000 British lives. But yeah, he said from the start, if you ever look at some of the historical facts about Winston Churchill, that you cannot negotiate with Nazi Germany. But yeah, this movie has some great acting. I feel like it could be almost narrated through the Lily James character, the assistant. Her name is Elizabeth in the movie. I feel like it could be narrated through her point of view, because all the glimpses and all the things that we see about Winston Churchill primarily come from her point of view when he's talking to her behind the scenes, and you get to see a lot of the little bumbling and fumblingness of him, which again, if you ever studied anything about Winston Churchill, the man was a genius. Just read some of the stuff that he wrote about life and about war. Like, the man was a genius. I don't think he was a bumbling, fumbling idiot as he was portrayed in this movie. So they Hollywooded it up, I guess you can call it. But all in all, the acting was superb. Gary Oldman definitely deserves an Oscar for his work in this movie, because when you're watching it, you do feel like you're watching old school reels of Winston Churchill, like you're watching old footage of him and not Gary Oldman portraying him in the movie. So that, to me, was the thing that stood out the most in this movie. Now, Lily James as the assistant and Kristin Thomas as the wife, Clementine, both did a great job. Ben Mendelsohn, wow. Like, when I heard that he was going to be King George VI, I was like, I don't know about this. If you guys ever know who Ben Mendelsohn is, he played in Star Wars Rogue One also. But yeah, so I didn't really know how that would work. But yeah, it worked perfect. Him and Gary Oldman had some great back and forth, some very tense scenes, but some comedic relief in there as well. But it doesn't throw the movie off with the comedic relief. It's just a few jokes here or there. All in all, I honestly, if you're a history buff, you may like this movie. If you're someone who's the lover of film and you just like good acting, then you would like this film. But if you're an average person like me, I felt like this movie was just a long-ass, dry movie. I was into it because I was into the acting, but at the same time, it didn't keep me locked in to where I felt like it was the best movie of the year. I felt like it was some of the best acting I've ever seen. I felt like Gary Oldman did a great job, and he does deserve a statue for this movie. But at the same time, I cannot lie to you and tell you, go see this movie, go get the Blu-ray, go rent it or whatever, because I feel like you're going to be there for like 2 hours and some change, bored out your mind. It's long, it's dry with some great acting. So another cool connection is, you know, the movie Dunkirk that's also nominated for an Oscar this year. That movie took place during this Churchill movie, because he ordered the attack of Dunkirk. So it's a cool little connection that those two movies have. But at the same time, I cannot recommend you go see this movie unless you're a history buff or unless you want to see some really great acting. But at the same time, I have to be upfront and honest with you. This is a long, dry-ass movie full of dialogue. So all in all, I give it a 6.5, 7 out of 10 just because of the great acting. But it's long and dry, so I can't be all over the top excited about it. I mean, I know some other YouTubers are, and you hear people, but I don't know, it just didn't do it for me. It may for you, but it just didn't do it for me. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on the movie The Darkest Hours, nominated for an Oscar this year. Check it out if you want to. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did like this video. It's much appreciated, y'all. And I'll catch your ass out there in the universe. Peace.
On the landing ground, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender!